I love what AD said on the court to his teammate KCP. We're back. That's the type of confidence and enthusiasm they need in the locker room. And I'll give AD this. He has remained confident. You saw after the game last night, or the loss to Toronto, he still said, look, we got to understand we're the champs, we're the defending champs. So I do like that attitude, but let's keep it real. They're not back until LeBron James steps on the court at 95%, all right, and stays there. And, Nick, I see the smug look on your face, but I'm the one that talked you down from the cliff yesterday.
No,
you were talking about you can't win 3 straight series. That's impossible.
That was about the
and
Nets.
I said, Nick, relax.
That is a lie.
Don't count the Lakers out. I told you. I sat on this show and said, I am not counting the Lakers out like my friend Nick Wright.
Dare.
So, look, I'm going to make this quick. They got LeBron coming back. That obviously means you're back. AD has the capability. It was a step in the right direction last night. Jenna said hit the big shot at the end of the game, the big block, but still wasn't quite the AD of last year. But he's getting better. It was a step in the right direction. The other thing is they are one of the best 2 or 3 defensive teams in the league, and they maintain that without LeBron and AD. Last night held the 4th best offense to 89 points. As long as you have defense, LeBron and AD, you've got a shot. And this is what they got to figure out. Kyle Kuzma, who knew that he was pulling strings? Because he said, we got to play Marc Gasol more. Gasol gets in last night.
Yeah, Gasol was
game
good.
high plus 17.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have to, I think they're going to have to do what they did last year, where some games Dwight and JaVale McGee played more, and other games they didn't. They're going to have to do that with Andre Drummond and kind of alternate when is it best with Gasol and when is it best with Drummond.
I'm so frustrated that Broussard lied to America like that, which as a man of God I wouldn't have expected. Because I was talking about the Nets having to go Bucks, Sixers, Lakers. Then later in the show you turned that into, if the Nets can't do that, how are the Lakers going to be able to go Denver, Utah, Phoenix, or Denver, Utah, the Clippers? The reason I wanted to give Broussard credit is Broussard, thanks to his new public relations manager, Kevin Wildes, wouldn't give an updated finals pick when yesterday the entire world was fleeing from the remnants of the Lakers bandwagon. Even our dear friend and beloved colleague Shannon Sharp uttered the words, "I'm worried the Lakers are in trouble." I was not concerned, and if Broussard was concerned, he did a good job hiding it, so I will give him credit for that. But you did utter a word there that we never use when we're talking about your championship pick, the Nets, and that was defense. And the Lakers, the reason they are the title favorites is because of defense. They haven't been one of the best defenses in basketball this year. They have been the best defense in basketball this year. Goodness. And the fact that they were able to maintain that even when LeBron was out and Anthony Davis is out is a testament actually to Frank Vogel. I totally agree that Marc Gasol is going to play big playoff moments, going to have big playoff moments. I totally also agree with the point Broussard made yesterday, which is Drummond historically is an empty calories guy. The box score looks good, but he doesn't really affect winning in a positive way. And in the biggest moments, Brandon, Anthony Davis is going to be playing center, and they're not going to have a big man on the court. But I hear you saying, oh my goodness, when I talk about defense, it matters. They're the number 1 defense in basketball.
It does matter.
Historically, it's super important.
And they also got to score. And that's what they did last year. Anthony Davis and LeBron James. You're holding on for dear life. It is over for these Lakers. For you guys to go and beat the Nuggets and now all of a sudden we're back. Come on. That's one game. You guys have been struggling since LeBron went down and AD went down, and AD's been no-showing game after game after game. All of this comes down to Anthony Davis. For this Lakers team to get back on track, they need Anthony Davis to be the Anthony Davis that they saw in the bubble. Not just Anthony Davis last night. Don't get it twisted. He had a great half, but not a great game. He sat out the whole third quarter. Now, if you want to compare the last 2 seasons, because you keep talking, we talked about this earlier on the show. Like Anthony Davis, he's still on track. He's still having a good year. No, he's not. Look at last year in the bubble. We're talking about 27 points, and now this year he dropped down to 21. And then look at the field goal percent, the three-point percentage, and then the free throw. The free throw is the biggest thing for me. Like, I was a 75% free throw shooter in high school. And, Nick, I'm telling you right now, we can go line it up at the free throw line. I'm still going to shoot around 70, 75%. How do you go from 83% to 72%? That is the biggest tell of all. This dude is not in a slump. He's having a bad year, Wilds. And like we say in sports, you can have a bad game. You can have bad plays, you can have a bad game, but you can't have a bad season. And right now, Anthony Davis is having a bad season, and superstars don't have bad seasons.
Okay, Brandon, I love you, and I hate betting against you, but I'm going to place my second bet on Fox Bet against you. The first one is Brandon versus Deontay Wilder. Unfortunately, I laid a lot of money on Deontay Wilder. The second one is the fact that you will shoot 75% from the free throw line right now. I'm just going to say no, you won't. I'm just going to take the other side of that one.
I'm going to do it today. I'm going to send a video.
You're looking like
it's going to be my butt first tomorrow. It's going to be my butt first tomorrow.
Free throws? Okay, that'd be great.
Right.
Broussard, I don't think Anthony Davis is the story.
We'll be here for an hour
I think
and a
it's
half.
LeBron's the story. And LeBron's sitting out at back-to-back, and he says he's not 100%, and he rested the ankle. I actually think Anthony Davis saying we're back actually is just like, I'm back, I feel good. Where's everybody else? Schroeder's not here. LeBron's hanging out. So for me, I'm still worried about LeBron's ankle. I know I'm like the worrywart of the whole squad here. But the fact that they needed this game to avoid the play-in against Denver, someone that they might end up seeing, and LeBron still decided to sit out, made me think, reading the ankle tea leaves, that he's not nearly as healthy as he wants to be.
Well, look, I think it was smart to sit out because LeBron said it after the Toronto loss, and I agree wholeheartely. The bottom line is he's got to be healthy. They could be the freaking 9th seed, and if he's healthy, it gives them a better chance than if they were the 5th seed and he's not healthy. So that's number one, get him healthy. But here's the thing that worries me. He's 36. He's in his 18th year. 6 or 7 years ago, he would have been back from this ankle injury and it wouldn't have been a problem and it would not have lingered. But that's what happens when you get older. And again, I go back to 2 years ago. He came back. LeBron thought he was ready. He talked about activating playoff mode and all that, and they went 8-13 and lost to some bad teams on the way to that. So that's not sure. We don't know what LeBron's coming back. We can trust in playoff LeBron, but the bottom line is they got to get him as close to 100% as possible, even if it means sitting out some of these critical games.
That's a good point.
All right, so I know this will shock the audience. I'm not worried about LeBron. LeBron's going to be the best player in the postseason. LeBron is going to play in the final game that is played in the NBA this season, as he has every year except for one this decade. I do think we should spend a moment here, Broussard, talking about what this game means for the team that lost it. Because Lakers-Nuggets very likely could be a first-round series. The Nuggets played the Lakers in a playoff series last year, and they got dusted in 5 games. They don't have Jamal Murray. What they do have is the guy I believe you are likely to vote for league MVP in Nikola Jokic. Honest question here. In a playoff series, I know you'd rather have LeBron than anybody on either of these two teams. Would you maybe also rather have Anthony Davis in a playoff series than Jokic in these when these two teams face each other? Is maybe the Lakers' biggest advantage? Because Brandon's right, Anthony Davis is having a bad regular season after he had a phenomenal postseason. So we'll see how this year's postseason numbers match up to last year's postseason numbers when it's all said and done. But if the Lakers go into a series with the Nuggets, is it arguable they might actually have the 2 best players in the series, even though neither one of them is going to be the league MVP this year?
Well, first of all, if they end up matching up and LeBron plays all 7 games and it's fine, I'm going with the Lakers in that series. All right, but
7 games.
It's certainly
Probably
arguable
5.
if you want AD. It'd be arguable if you go back, AD last year, AD the year before, and all that. But this year, no. I would say Jokic is the second best player. Here's the problem. Jokic is the number 1 guy for Denver. AD is the number 2 guy for the Lakers. So it's really a mismatch there because Jokic doesn't have LeBron. And so that's the difference. And their number 2 guy now is Michael Porter Jr., who's playing tremendously. You know, they did a good job on him last night, the Lakers. But he's playing great, but he's young. We can't expect him to go into the playoffs in big games against LeBron James and Anthony Davis and play lights out. So they're the top 2 players on each team. It is a huge advantage for the Lakers.
I mean, this is simple, Nick. I mean, do you expect the Nuggets to shoot 6 for 24 from deep again? Do we expect that? Maybe it was 6 for 22, 6 for 20, but they didn't shoot the ball well last night.
24.
So my thing is this. It's going to be a series. LeBron James come back, he's 95%. He's phenomenal. He's the LeBron James in the playoffs that we've seen. He activated playoff LeBron. But then AD, that's still the biggest question mark. Like, you guys don't have a chance in the West if AD continues to play the way he did or he's been playing. So that is the problem is AD. LeBron is great. The other guys are good. They're playing their role. Defense is great. But you need AD to come in and give you 25-plus points a night against a team who's going to shoot lights out for the most part.
So that last point you made, I feel like a lot of times when we've talked about the Nets and they've lost, I've heard, the other team made 17 threes. And when the Lakers and they win, it's like, the other team shot terribly. There's a reason for that, guys. Like, guess what? Against bad defenses, guys get wide open threes and they make them. Against good defenses, guys get the game-tying 3 blocked at the buzzer like Campazzo or the down 4, and they miss them. Like, they're not open shots. The reason, listen, man, and you've been calling him 4'11". My man's 5'10" tall, and so give him some credit. Great Italian American,
Anthony.
And so, like the idea that the Nuggets shooting poorly from 3 is not directly related to playing the league's number 1 defense, I just reject. I think the reason the Lakers are the favorite is because teams don't shoot great from 3 against them because, Jenna, they have the best defense in the NBA.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.